So points bet, a busy week.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Jay has all those screens. You got just kind of randomness abound. You got to go figure it out. You got to narrow it down. You got Matt Fitzpatrick, the favorite. How about Pat Reed? Not even the favorite here at the Butterfield Bermuda Championship. He's at plus 2,000. Jay Croucher sitting around waiting for us to bring him back in. And Jay, I mentioned the job. That's why you have all those screens. How tough is it to figure out a field like this that has such an assortment of players?
Well, firstly, on those screens, I heard you asking how many there are. Right now, I've got 6, but there are 2 on back order. And I like to think of it as kind of Keanu Reeves plugging into the Matrix to learn jiu-jitsu with this setup, except instead of learning jiu-jitsu, I'm learning how to price Olin Brown to win a PGA tournament in 2021. I've got Olin at 1,000 to 1. So stranger things have happened, albeit not many stranger things. In terms of pricing this tournament, I mean, it becomes more and more difficult when the Bermuda Triangle swallows up half the field. But right now, we've got Matt Fitzpatrick as the favorite. Patrick Reed, like you said, he's only 3rd favorite, and that's just because of his recent form. You know, his past 9 starts, he hasn't made a top 20. So it is wide open. It's not too often you'll see Seamus Power as a top 5 favorite to win a tournament, but this is where we are, and there's going to be lots of potential for a long shot to get up and perhaps an unfamiliar name.
Man, Jay is warming into this role, by the way. Very, very funny. How about Brian Gay? You mentioned the travel trouble. I'm just, as kind of a novice to the points bet world, how much would you kind of factor in travel trouble? Maybe missing a day of practice. Maybe you're a little jet lagged or you're a little cranky. How do you factor that into the pricing?
So travel's huge, and travel's one thing as well as, you know, rest that really comes into pricing across all sports. You know, the famous thing is when, you know, a West Coast NFL team goes east for an early start on a Sunday. That matters, and it's history bears out that it does matter. So it's very difficult to understand exactly how much it matters, but it is a factor. And if you've had comfortable travel, you've had rest, it only helps.
Jay, do these weeks make you nervous? You typically can throw Jon Rahm out there at plus 300 or plus 400, and you have Justin Thomas and Spieth and on down the list of players that people like to put money on because they want them to win. Do weeks like this make you nervous when it's kind of all over the place?
They do. Yeah, it is a lot more comfortable when you've got something warm like Jon Rahm to hold on to at the top of the odds board, when you've got anchors like that who you know exactly, you know, what they can do and what you expect them to do. Whereas this week in Bermuda, with the travel elements, with a field that isn't as huge in terms of the big names, it is much more difficult indeed.
So past results don't always lead to future returns, but when you've had a Brendan Todd and a Brian Gay and these kind of out-of-the-blue winners, how much do you have to pay attention to the potential for a 3rd straight out-of-the-blue winner in this event?
Definitely. And I think that, you know, this is a tournament where almost any winner is going to be out of the blue because of the lack of familiarity with the names. And I think that, you know, players who do have experience at the course, that always helps. It's difficult to quantify exactly how much, but, you know, when you look at the blast from the past, one guy is Ben Crane, who's 200 to 1 to win the tournament, 20 to 1 to finish in the top 10. But in 2019, he did finish 18th at Bermuda. So something like that definitely helps.
Jay, what would my number be this week? Where would you put me at? I mean, plus 3,000, plus 4,000. I mean, plus 5,000. Where would you have me? A flyer in the field? What's the number?
I'd put you right in the Olin Brown range,
Perfect.
Shane. So
Perfect.
1,000 to 1.
It's a compliment.
We'll give Olin a little bit more credit. So maybe 1,500 to 1 for Shane Bacon.
I think that's great credit. I did just have a nice run of 22 straight holes without a birdie, so I feel like I'm kind of right there where I need to be.
You hit it past Olin. I'll give you that.
Thank you. Jay Croucher, thank you so much. Great information as always.